Before I tell you who I am, I want to talk to the part of you that nobody sees, the part that's been tired, exhausted, but kept going, that smiled in the spotlight, but battled in silence, that showed up for everyone else while wondering, who's going to show up for me? Have you ever been in a room full of people and still felt unseen? Have you ever been needed by everyone, yet supported by no one? If you've ever led while bleeding, then you know what I mean. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 4:8 through 9, we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair. That verse isn't just poetic, it's personal, because leadership will press you. Life will confuse you, but with God, you are never destroyed. Behind every title, every achievement, and every applause, there's a story, a silent struggle, a season of darkness. I know this not just as a coach or a leader, but as a woman who's lived it. You see, I've worn the white coat of a nurse. I've walked the halls of business. I've stood behind the pulpit, and I've served thousands through my cheesecake brand. But none of those titles tell you about the trauma I had to heal from, the betrayal I had to survive, or the strength I had to borrow when I had none left of my own. I'm not just here to impress you with success. I'm here to remind you of something far deeper, that your story isn't over, that darkness doesn't disqualify you, it develops you. I'm going to say that again. Darkness doesn't disqualify you, it develops you. Sometimes it's not your title, but your testimony that changes lives. So today, I'm not just here as a speaker. I'm here as a woman who's been refined by fire, a woman who's learned to turn pain into purpose, and a woman who believes your greatest comeback is waiting on the other side of your darkest night. Let's talk about success after darkness, because the light you're looking for might just be locked inside the very story you've been trying to hide. Now, before I dive deeper, let me take a moment to introduce myself, not just by my title, but by the journey that shaped me. My name is Nicole D. Shepherd. I'm a pastor, a nurse of 18 years, a life and business coach, an entrepreneur, and a published author. I've dedicated my life to helping others heal, grow, and lead spiritually, emotionally, and professionally. But more than anything, I'm someone who knows what it feels like to rise from brokenness and to experience success after darkness. But I need you to know I didn't start where I am now. Before I ever became a nurse, before I ever stepped into ministry, and before I built a business, I was a young mother, pregnant, unemployed, and homeless. My journey didn't begin with a title. It began with survival. I found myself living in a homeless shelter with my 2 children and pregnant with my 3rd, separated from my husband, no job, no income, no support, and no clear way out. I remember lying awake at night asking, how did I get here? How will I ever get out? I was afraid. I was alone. I was overwhelmed. And honestly, I was ashamed. Then one night I went into labor right in the middle of that uncertain place. I gave birth to my daughter in one of the most darkest seasons of my life. But you know what? Something changed that night. Holding her in my arms, I realized this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. Psalms 30:5 says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Looking back, that shelter wasn't just a place of survival. It was a place where God was birthing something deeper inside of me, not just my child, but a new version of me. That experience taught me this, that your darkest moments can birth your greatest purpose. I'm going to say that again. Your darkest moments can birth your greatest purpose. Purpose doesn't always begin with clarity. Sometimes it begins with a crisis. Now, in that season, God planted seeds of compassion, seeds of strength, seeds of vision in me that I didn't understand yet. It wasn't instant, but day by day, I began rebuilding. I enrolled in nursing school. I worked long hours. I cared for my children, and I chased a vision I could barely see. Years later, I was faced with another dark season, losing my mother. My mother was the heartbeat of our family. Thanksgiving was special in our family, not because of the turkey, but because of one dessert in particular, her famous pineapple glazed cheesecake. My birthday is near Thanksgiving. I always skip birthday cake to have her cake. It wasn't just a dessert, it was a tradition. It was a love language. And when she passed away, I wasn't just mourning my mom. I was mourning a rhythm that anchored our family. So I decided to turn my grief into something meaningful. I launched Jerry's Cheesecake Boutique, named in her honor. What started as a tribute turned into a thriving business. 35 unique flavors featured in specialty stores across Metro Detroit. Every cheesecake carries a piece of her legacy. But once again, your darkest moments can birth your greatest purpose. Romans 8:28 says, and God causes everything to work together for the good of those that love him and are called according to his purpose. Turning pain into purpose is powerful. But let's be honest, purpose alone won't carry you. Between pain and purpose is a long road paved with resilience, anchored in faith. That road tested me in ways I never expected. One of those tests was the end of my marriage. Now, from the outside looking in, everything looked fine. But behind closed doors, I was in a relationship filled with manipulation, filled with betrayal and emotional abuse. I had to walk away, not because I was strong, but because I was finally tired of pretending I wasn't broke. That decision took everything I had, but it also opened the door to healing. Not long after that, I faced a breaking point. I was completely stressed out from work. I took a medical leave. I had a heart attack on my granddaughter's birthday. My family rushed me to the hospital. The doctors confirmed that I was having a heart attack. And I can't begin to tell you how frightening, how scary it was for a code to be called on me, a nurse. During the heart attack, I kept decreeing that I am healed by his stripes. I am healed. I kept calling on Jesus. During the heart attack, I kept decreeing that I am healed. By his stripes, I am healed. It stopped me physically, but more importantly, it stopped me spiritually. You see, the doctors didn't think I was going to make it through the night. I had what is called a widowmaker heart attack. It's called a widowmaker heart attack because only 12% of people survive. So now I'm part of 12%. It stopped me physically, but more importantly, God was trying to get my attention. Now, God didn't cause my heart attack, but he surely brought me through it. I spent years pushing, striving, surviving. But what is success if you're not whole? That moment forced me to ask the question, who am I if I'm not performing for anyone? Healing became my new assignment. And I learned this truth. Success isn't defined by how much you do. It's defined by who you become. 3 John 1 and 2 says, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. True success must be redefined through healing, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, I want to pause and speak to the person in the room who feels invisible, that person who feels unseen, the person who feels forgotten. Let me remind you of this. God never wastes pain. The enemy wants you to think your story is too messy to matter, but your story is your ministry. Your wounds, they carry weight. Your scars, they carry wisdom. And your testimony, it will be someone else's survival guide. Revelation 12 and 11 says, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Here's what I want you to carry from today. Your darkest moments can be a catalyst for purpose. The places that nearly broke you can become the launching pad of your next level. Redefine success through healing. Peace is the new power. Wholeness is the new wealth. Success rooted in healing lasts longer than success built on hustle. You are not alone, and your story does matter. The story you survived is the light someone else needs. As you return to your teams, your families, your communities, I challenge you to lead from a deeper place, not just with strategy, but with spiritual strength, not just with vision, but with vulnerability. Because the world doesn't just need stronger leaders, it needs whole ones. Your title may open doors, but your testimony will change lives. Your resilience, your healing, your ability To rise from darkness with grace and wisdom, that's what makes you powerful. So take your lessons, take your pain, take your story, and turn it into a legacy that outlives you. Isaiah 60:1 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Success after darkness is not just possible, it's promised. You are the proof. Thank you.